The Master Grade Sinanju Stein narrative version is the epitome of what I would consider a gold tier Master Grade kit, as it excels in every aspect. Looks, articulation, accessories, it's got it all. It does, however, have one obvious down point, as the sleeves iconography on the wrists and chest are lacking the iconic white designs, and the kit only includes stickers to make up for this. Besides that one visual issue, this is a masterpiece of a kit. This is the exact same awesome Master Grade Sinanju Stein Ver.Ka from 2012, just in grey. This kit just includes a new runner for the visual update for Gundam NT, as well as some new weaponry. All in all, this kit is an absolute savage. Let's find out why. Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Master Grade Sinanju Stein narrative version. Of course, as always, this video right here would not be possible without those awesome people over at HobbyLink Japan. So if you want a Sinanju Stein narrative version of your own, then there's a link down there in the description. Now let's get to this. So there is the Master Grade Sinanju Stein narrative version out of the box and just snapped together with a little bit of extra effort. The reason for that is because the worst aspect about this kit, if you've seen the unboxing you know what this is already, and that is the fact that the sleeves on this kit as well as the chest section are not color separated, which really is inexcusable in 2019 for a Master Grade, especially after what they did with the real grade Sinanju with the separated gold. If you did miss that video anyway, I will mention that there are two options in the box. That's water slides for the white or stickers for the white, both of which aren't really the greatest options, so I just went ahead and painted it quite quickly just for the review, but it'll give you a good idea of what it will look like painted. This is my recommendation of what to do at the very minimum. Besides that, I did apply one of the decals up here on the shoulder. This is the sheet of decals, very nice, but these are only sticker style, no dry transfers in here. And I absolutely did not bother with this massive sheet of stickers. Believe it or not, what these are for, to me, don't stand out that much and won't improve it that much to make them worthwhile. I think as it is, it looks beautiful. Just paint those whites. If you are curious as to what the stickers are for, these brown ones here, these big brown ones, are for using on these smaller sections inside of the thrusters. They should be brown, not navy blue, but the navy blue looks absolutely fine. The red ones are for the thrusters on the sides of the legs, for in this section here, there's a side-by-side comparison of what it will look like with them in color, with them not in color, but again, I feel this looks fine without them. The last ones then are the oddest, that's these grey ones right here, and these are for on these particular segments in the middle of those leg thrusters, and really? Is that minor shade difference all that big of a deal? To me, that looks awesome the way it is. I'm not using those stickers. But besides those minor issues, which I don't really feel are issues, again, besides the white on the iconography, it looks spectacular. Just like the Master Grade Sinanju Ver.Ka from a few years ago looked fantastic. And, well, technically, this is the same exact kit. Exactly. Literally the only difference between these two kits, of course, the first one is the color, that's quite obvious, and the second is just the sleeves iconography once again. That's around the wrists and on the chest there. The two side sections of the torso have been changed out, probably just to work with the new chest section, but besides that, this is identical. I almost forgot to mention the fuel tanks around the back. They're the longer variants, just like we saw with the original Sinanju, so that's another difference between the two. And while I am mentioning that, all the parts to make this into a grey version of the standard Sinanju Stein Ver.Ka are included, so that is an option. That means we have the Ver.Ka sleeves, Ver.Ka fuel tanks, and the Ver.Ka chest. So once again, this is the same kit with a little bit more. So when I say with a little bit more, well, there's a lot of a bit more. This kit comes with a lot of leftover parts, and as you probably know, and if you don't know, Bandai priced the kits based on the amount of plastic used. So when there's leftover stuff in the box like this, you are paying that premium for the fact that they're printing out more runners than you need. If you like to hold on to parts for customizations, dioramas, and speaking of dioramas, there's enough parts here to make what looks like the exploded remains of a Sinanju. Well, if you like that kind of stuff, that's cool, but if you don't, just know you're gonna end up with a lot of excess pieces. On the positive point, if you are like me and you got the very original Sinanju and broke its waist joint, that joint was notorious for breaking while you're assembling the kit. Well, there is a leftover original Sinanju waist, so I used that to repair my old Sinanju, so now it's back to, well, 95% working order, but it does have a big brown crotch. As for some size comparisons, there is the Sinanju Stein beside the Granddaddy Gundam. The Sinanju Stein is one whopper of a mobile suit. There it is beside the standard Sinanju Stein as well as the old school original Sinanju Ver.Ka. And finally, there it is side by side with the high grade version, which I really do recommend. If you do prefer 1/44th scale high grades and real grades, this is a fantastic, brilliant alternative right here. I really highly recommend this. I'm not saying right here that's better than the Master Grade. The Master Grade is awesome in its own right as well, and if you like 1/100s, I'd say that's the way to go. Now moving straight into the accessories, and here is the Sinanju Stein narrative version with everything that it comes with. And as you can see, this thing really is packing. And before I actually go into detail of what's in this box, there is a very nice surprise in here. Like I said, there is a lot of leftover plastic. In here we've got the full original Sinanju Stein Ver.Ka version of the beam rifle, as well as the new variant of the beam rifle. So this I didn't expect to see, and that is awesome. So you get two of these big badass beam rifles in here. But anyway, let's take a closer look at everything. So going through everything one by one, and first up we've got the high beam rifle. This is the new one for this kit, and as you can see from the handle sticking out down here and this section up here, and it also mentions in the manual that this is the standard Sinanju rifle just with this new jacket. So technically, it's a combination of this right here, which was the standard Sinanju rifle, that's the red full frontal Sinanju, and this right here, which was the beam rifle from the standard Sinanju Stein Ver.Ka. So combine those both, and you end up with this right here, which is more detailed than both combined. It does have the look of the Sinanju Stein rifle, but with the functional aspects of the Sinanju rifle. So I will come back to this later after talking about the other weapons. And just like I mentioned, this comes extra on the runners. This is the standard Sinanju Stein Ver.Ka rifle just for this kit. So there it is beside the original, and as you can see, they are absolutely and utterly identical. But I will mention one thing. You can see from the handle here, this is that flip out tab style handle that we saw with the Ver.Ka. This right here, that has the old school handle that came with the Sinanju, and that is for using with what we have in here, which is an extra fixed pose manipulator. So this is like something you'd see on, I guess, a high grade or a Reborn 100, or even a lot of master grades lately, because those posable style hands, these ones right here, you can see that's the one with the flip out tab, that can be used with the Sinanju Stein. Wait, that is the Sinanju Stein one. With the Sinanju Stein style rifle with the flip out tab. So these posable hands, they look great, they're posable, but they're not the most secure grip when it comes to heavy weapons. So that makes this right here a fantastic idea, but this can only be used with this handle right here. And speaking of the weapons, up next is the Bazooka, which has this, what I can only describe as bizarre brown handle. So of course this came off one of the brown runners, not off one of the grey runners, so that does stand out quite a bit. This right here is one of those flip out tabs, can only be used with one of the posable hands, but even though it is not mentioned in the manual, we do have one of those old school Sinanju ones. So this, I assume, let's check. So while I'm doing this, I might as well mention this is just your standard style posed hand that can bust open here. Let's see if this style handle works with that or not. Those little tabs that stick out there, those are stopping it from working. Let's chop them off. So 1 and 2. So let's see, does that fit now? Nah, that doesn't fit. It seems like the Bazooka can only be held with the posable hands. But of course, this right here is the same old Bazooka we've seen multiple times across the Master Grade Sinanju. So we've got a moving handle here. This little segment moves up and down. Another flip out handle on the side. The missile magazine on the back that can, well, not that much. The missile magazine on the back can be removed when you don't want it in there, so that's pretty cool. And of course, this can be made into a short version by popping this section off and then just sliding the barrel down like this, and there is the short version. So I did say I'd be coming back to this rifle soon, and the reason is, and you probably know this already, and it's so awesome, that missile launcher can be used in here like so and attached onto the bottom of the high beam rifle like that. That, get that little piece out, that looks so sick, and that's what it will look like right there when held in the hand of the Sinanju Stein. This is one of my favorite long-range weapons from Gundam. It just looks so damn cool. Also included in here is this little bazooka. This can, so as well as that, we've also got the grenade launcher that can open and close just like this. And just like with the awesome bazooka, that can also slot in under the rifle just like that. That also is pretty cool. There we go. There it is, pushed in properly. That is awesome. Next up then is the shield. This is pretty plain, and as you can see, it's very similar to the standard Sinanju Stein one. There, that is just for reference. The difference really is the tip there. This one's sharpened to be a little bit more deadly, but pretty much they are the same. Flip that around to the other side. And instead of having these little red missiles on the bottom underside, we have a connection point just like the standard red Sinanju. And that, of course, is for attaching in the bazooka just like so. Lastly then, we have a pair of yellow beam sabers. These are pretty standard. These are for using with opposable hands. As you can see, they have the flip out tabs in them there. When not in use, just pull out those beams. They can be stored back here in this cool fold out section in the back of the arms. And in order to do that, you need to flip out that little tab in there, just like that, and that will slot into the rear section back there. So that's what it looks like once it's in there, and that can close up just like so. Absolutely awesome. Also, these can be deployed while contained in the arms, which I love. I love beam tonfas. It's such a cool idea. So you just stick the beam into the beam saber while it's in there, and you get that right there. Pretty cool. Next up in here then, we've got a base adapter in a very unseemly color, which is the brown of the inner frame. So that right there is what it looks like attached. It's worth noting that there is no minifigure in here of Zoltan from the movie, who is the actual pilot for the narrative version of Sinanju Stein. What we get in here is the one figure of full frontal that we've seen a couple of times before. And the same goes for the pilot minifigure that should go into the cockpit. Once again, this right here is full frontal. There is no Zoltan, so the instructions just say leave the cockpit empty. So you have the choice of sticking full frontal in there or just leaving it without a pilot. So I did mention to you guys in one of the last videos I made, would you like to see some old reviews? And I said I would review the standard Master Grade Sinanju Stein Ver.Ka before this one, but this one just came in the door the next day, so I was like, might as well do the new one. And these are identical. Besides the extra pieces I've showed you before, the new rifle, new shield, the grenade launcher, the sleeves, iconography, those sort of things. They're the only things that are different. And this right here is what the standard Ver.Ka comes with in the box. So it's just the same stuff, just a little bit less than in this kit. So I'm not going to do a whole review about that one there because everything, articulation-wise, build-wise, is all the same besides some cosmetic and accessories differences. So in the end, go for the one that you want. So now moving on to the articulation, and if you've ever built any version of the Sinanju, you know this thing has superb articulation for how, well, big and awesome and armored it is. So let's not waste any more time, let's get right into that articulation. So as usual, starting from the head down, and we've got a double jointed joint in here. So that's one down in the torso, one in the bottom of the neck. So that means we should have a, yeah, we've got a full giggity there. There's head all the way to the left, well, all the way around more like. So there's all the way looking up, all the way looking down, pretty good. And in old school Master Grade fashion, there isn't a whole lot here at the waist. There's all the way to the front, all the way back, and it just seems to spring back into the middle, so there's essentially nothing there. Side to side is the same, essentially nothing there. Rotation, that is 360 degrees all the way around. Ooh. We've got your typical opening cockpit in here. So there it is open, and the cockpit in there in that psycho frame bubble is completely empty. And this is a little bit hard to open because of the sleeves thing up on top. That is very likely to just pull off when you're trying to open it. So I'm just going to close it instead so you can watch how that works. So this bottom part closes up like that, and this pushes in like so. So to open it, you just do the opposite, but this is inclined to pop off. Next, there is the arm all the way up at the shoulder, and that is impressive. There is a little bit of forward and back there at the shoulder, quite good. The shoulder there, that is separate to the arm as usual. Got this little flappy that can move up and down in here to protect the shoulder, as well as the regular up and down there. We've got your standard full rotation there at the upper arm, and absolutely killer bend at the elbow. Can't ask for more than that. Like I mentioned before, this whole section on the rear can open out like that to access the beam saber when it's stored in there. The hand is that perfect grade style, fully articulated. We've got a ball joint inside there. We've got that hinge joint that lets it flip down like that. Each finger is articulated at every single point, which is insane. And that goes for the thumb as well. So whatever pose you want to get out of a hand, you're going to get out of those right there. Impressive. I guess a true classic like that never goes out of fashion. When you need to hold on to a weapon, this little segment in the palm, that flips out just like that and tucks away when you're not using that. The front skirting armor, that can flip up like so. That's about it. Side skirting, that's as high as it goes. There it is down. That can move slightly back and forth, not a lot. We've got that double premium butt flap back here, so they can move up like this. No out there, just up. I'll just pull off the leg for a second. And there you can see in at the waist, we've got one of those moving back and forward style joints to rock the legs up to the front for those big forward kicks and upward bent knee poses. So as for the kick out to the front, that's pretty much parallel with the ground. Out to the sides, you're not really going to get the splits unless you knock off those side skirts, but you can get them then. And out to the back is pretty good because of that double premium butt flap. Full rotation up there at the upper leg. There is the bend at the knee, and that is pretty much perfect. As you can see, the armor separates out beautifully at the knee there. That is very nice looking. One more time. There is it all closing up. Awesome. Around here on the back, we've got two moving parts that allow this thruster to come out. We've got a moving part here as well as here. You can see a lot of similarities with the unicorn here because, of course, this was one of the prototypes that led to the unicorn. Front section of armor can move up and down here. This thruster section that comes out on an arm like so to move it out from the leg. That can rotate as well and point in a whole lot of different directions. Epic. Next up, let's test it there at the ankle. There it is all the way to the back. There it is all the way to the front. And there is the side to side pivot. So it's pretty good. Not crazy, but pretty damn good. Next then at the toes, this can all bend up like so. That is pretty cool. And there it is bending all the way down. So we've got both up and down at those toes. So that is it for the review, and as you can see, without a single doubt, this is a solid gold tier master grade right here. As usual with my ranking system, gold tier means it's gone above and beyond what you would expect from a master grade, and this does everything. The only real down point is the white sections on the sleeves iconography, but you don't even have to use the sleeves iconography if you do not want to. You can use the old Sinanju Stein parts, but it does suck that you do have to use either stickers or paint there. But all in all, the accessories are insanely awesome, the articulation is fantastic, it looks amazing, and it's huge to boot. If you do want one of your own, there's a link down there in the description. You can get yours at Hobby Link Japan. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time.